Thunder rumbled across Pine Valley as a massive grey wolf stood atop Stone Ridge, its piercing yellow eyes fixed on something in the distance. The creature's fur bristled against the harsh winter wind, but it wasn't the cold that made the wolf. Pause. A sound carried through the valley, the unmistakable cry of a human child. Behind the grey wolf, 5 more emerged from the shadows, their breath visible in the freezing air. The pack's leader, a striking white female named Luna, stepped forward. Her decision in the next few moments would change not just the fate of a lost child, but the very meaning of what it means to be human. Deep in the Pacific Northwest, where ancient forests meet towering mountains, Pine Valley sits like a jewel nestled between wilderness and civilization. Cedar Creek Village, the only settlement for miles, is home to just over 300 souls who have learned to live in harmony with the untamed lands around them. Here, where cell phones rarely find signal and winter storms can isolate the community for weeks, people still tell stories of the mysterious wolves that roam Evergreen Ridge. Grace Williams, the village elder, often speaks of these wolves with reverence. "They're not just animals," she would say, her weathered hands wrapped around a steaming mug of tea. "They're the guardians of these mountains, keeping secrets we can barely imagine." Little did she know how prophetic those words would become. The story begins on a bitter winter night when the Thompson family's car skidded off the icy road near Ravenclaw Gorge. Sarah Thompson, protecting her 2-year-old son, Alex, managed to free him from the wreckage. With the last of her strength, she placed him on safe ground before the vehicle, precariously balanced on the gorge's edge, finally gave way. The search parties found the car 3 days later, but there was no sign of little Alex. What they couldn't know was that fate had other plans. Luna's pack, drawn by the commotion, found the toddler huddled against a fallen log. The child, instead of showing fear, reached out toward Luna with tiny, frost-bitten fingers. Something in his innocent trust stirred an ancient instinct in the alpha female. Instead of walking away, she lay down beside him, sharing her warmth through the brutal night. David Parker, the local ranger, would later describe the scene he discovered at dawn, a set of small footprints in the snow, surrounded by wolf tracks leading away from the crash site. But these weren't signs of a hunt. The tracks told a different story. The wolves weren't stalking, they were protecting. Deep in Thunder Cave, where the pack made their den, Luna watched as her pack members took turns warming the human cub. Shadow, her loyal beta, brought back a freshly killed rabbit, chewing it into manageable pieces for the child. Storm, the swiftest of the pack, gathered soft moss for bedding. Even old Sage, the white-furred elder wolf, seemed to approve, gently, cleaning the boy's face with her tongue. As weeks turned to months and months to years, Alex, nicknamed Cub by his wolf family, learned the ways of the pack. Echo, a young wolf born the same spring Alex arrived, became his constant companion. Together they learned to track prey, read the wind, and sense danger. Luna watched with pride as her human cub grew strong, running on all fours when needed, but maintaining his unique human abilities to climb trees and use tools. Michael Thompson never gave up searching for his son. He moved to Cedar Creek Village, taking any job that would allow him to spend time in the mountains. Every weekend, he would hike different trails, calling Alex's name until his voice grew hoarse. The villagers watched with sympathy as his hair turned gray, but his determination never wavered. As Alex grew into his teen years, his world began to expand beyond the pack. During summer hunts in Red Deer Valley, he occasionally glimpsed humans from afar. Each sighting stirred something deep within him, a growing awareness of his difference from his wolf family. Luna sensed his inner turmoil, understanding that her child stood between two worlds. Everything changed the day Alex encountered Emma Foster, a young wildlife photographer near Whispering Falls. She had wandered off the marked trail, following tracks that interested her when she found herself surrounded by wolves. But before fear could take hold, she saw something extraordinary. A young man moving among them with the grace of a wolf, yet undeniably human. Their eyes met across the clearing, and for the first time in his life, Alex saw someone who looked like him. Emma, instead of running, slowly lowered her camera and sat down, showing she meant no harm. The pack, following Luna's lead, allowed her to remain. Over the next few months, Emma returned to the falls, gradually earning the pack's trust. She taught Alex to speak, though he already understood human language from years of secretly observing hikers. Through her, he learned about the human world, about his own kind, and about the father who had never stopped looking for him. But dark forces were stirring in Pine Valley. Marcus Reed, a wealthy developer, had plans for the wilderness. His men began appearing in the forest, marking trees and setting up equipment. The wolf pack's territory was under threat, and with it, the delicate balance of the entire ecosystem. Alex found himself torn between two loves: his wolf family who had raised him, and the human world that called to his blood. When Reed's men began setting up construction equipment near Thunder Cave, Alex made a decision that would change everything. Using his unique understanding of both worlds, he worked with Emma to document the wolves' behavior, proving their essential role in the ecosystem. Grace Williams recognized Alex from old photographs, and the truth of his identity spread through the village like wildfire. Michael Thompson, hearing that a wild young man had been seen with the wolves, dared to hope again. But when father and son finally met at Moon Lake, it wasn't the joyful reunion either had imagined. Alex, now understanding his full story, faced an impossible choice. The pack needed his help to survive the threat to their territory, but his human father desperately wanted to rebuild their relationship. Luna, watching from the shadows, knew this moment would come. She had raised him not to be wolf or human, but to be true to his own heart. In the end, Alex found a way to bridge both worlds. Working with Emma and his father, he helped establish the Evergreen Ridge Wolf Sanctuary, protecting both the pack's territory and their way of life. Marcus Reed's development plans were defeated by a combination of legal action and public support, sparked by Emma's photographs and Alex's extraordinary story. Today, Alex lives in a cabin near Thunder Cave, serving as a guardian of the wilderness that shaped him. He spends his mornings running with the pack and his afternoons working with his father at the sanctuary. Emma, now his wife, documents the wolves' lives, helping others understand these magnificent creatures. Luna still leads her pack, though she's growing old. On quiet nights, she can be seen at the edge of the sanctuary, watching her human cub, with those same wise eyes that once looked down at a helpless toddler in the snow. Her choice that winter night didn't just save a child, it created a bridge between two worlds. The wolves of Pine Valley still roam free, protected now by the very humans they once avoid. Intense music builds, and sometimes, if you stand at Whispering Falls at dusk, you might see a man running with the pack, moving as if he belongs in both worlds, because he does. Remember, every family has its own shape, every love its own language. Sometimes the greatest bonds are formed in the most unexpected places, and the truest family is the one that chooses you. Pine Valley holds secrets deeper than its endless forests and higher than its snow-capped peaks. As morning mist rolls through the ancient pines, the valley awakens to a world where wilderness and civilization dance an eternal, delicate balance. Cedar Creek Village, nestled against the protective embrace of Evergreen Ridge, represents humanity's last outpost before nature claims complete dominion. Grace Williams, whose silver hair matches the morning frost, remembers a time when the village was even smaller. From her cabin's wraparound porch, she watches the sun paint the mountains gold, just as she has done every morning for the past 60 years. Her weathered hands curl around a steaming mug of pine needle tea, a recipe passed down through generations of mountain folk who understood the forest's healing powers. The village itself seems to have grown from the very earth, its wooden structures weathered to the exact shade of the surrounding pine bark. Smoke rises from stone chimneys, carrying the scent of breakfast fires into the crisp mountain air. Children gather at the village's only school, a two-room building where Mrs. Foster teaches all grades with the patience of the mountains themselves. David Parker's ranger station stands at the village's edge, a testament to the delicate relationship between humans and wilderness. Maps cover its walls, each marked with wolf pack territories, migration routes, and the mysterious places where hikers claim to have seen things that defy explanation. David has served as ranger for 20 years, and still, the mountains surprise him daily. The morning brings its usual rhythm to Cedar Creek. Thomas Henderson opens his general store, arranging supplies that arrived on yesterday's monthly delivery truck. Sarah Mitchell checks her weather instruments, continuing the meticulous records her grandfather started in 1962. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The data tells a story of changing seasons, of winters growing longer and summers more unpredictable. Beyond the village limits, nature asserts its dominance. The forest floor remains untouched by human feet in most places, covered in a thick carpet of pine needles that muffles all sound. Deer paths wind through the undergrowth, telling tales of midnight journeys to hidden springs. Bare scratches on tree trunks mark territories that have remained unchanged for generations. At the Village Council Meeting Hall, Michael Thompson's missing person flyer still holds a place of honor, though its edges have yellowed with time. The photo shows a smiling toddler with bright eyes and wild brown hair, an image that has haunted the village's collective conscience for years. Some say they've heard a child's laughter in the forest at night, but most attribute such stories to guilt and imagination. Luna's pack claims the northeastern section of Evergreen Ridge as their territory. Their hunting grounds stretch from Thunder Cave to Moon Lake, encompassing some of the richest game trails in the region. The pack's success comes not just from Luna's leadership, but from an intimate knowledge of the land passed down through generations of wolves. The cave system they call home extends deep into the mountain, with numerous chambers and passages that stay warm even in the harshest winters. The main den, where the pack sleeps, bears claw marks from countless generations. Smaller caves branch off like fingers, perfect for raising pups or storing food. An underground stream provides fresh water year-round, its gentle music a constant companion. Shadow, Luna's beta, maintains the pack's borders with tireless dedication. His dark fur allows him to move like a living shadow through the twilight hours when the boundary between wolf and forest blurs. He leads the younger wolves on patrol, teaching them to read the signs left by rival packs, bears, and the occasional human intruder. Storm, the pack's scout, runs faster than mountain winds. Her grey coat matches the granite cliffs she loves to patrol, making her nearly invisible when she stands still. She's the first to spot approaching danger, whether it comes in the form of rival wolves or human hunters. Her speed has saved the pack more than once, and her intelligence makes her an invaluable member of Luna's inner circle. Thunder, despite his fierce name, moves with surprising grace for such a large wolf. His massive size and jet-black fur make him an intimidating sight, but the pack knows him as a gentle giant. He's often the one who helps the weakest members, staying behind with elderly wolves during long hunts or carrying meat back to injured packmates. Old Sage, the white-furred elder, carries the wisdom of many winters in her cloudy eyes. Though her hunting days are past, she serves as advisor and healer. She knows which herbs ease pain and which berries give strength. The younger wolves often find her waiting at the cave's entrance after their first solo hunts, ready to clean their wounds and share silent lessons about survival. The youngest member of the pack, Echo, was born during the same spring that brought Alex to them. Perhaps this timing created the special bond between them, or perhaps it was simply fate. Whatever the reason, Echo grew up considering the human cub his brother, their differences meaningless in the face of their shared experiences. As seasons turned, the pack adapted to having a human member. They learned that their cub needed more sleep than wolf pups, that his hairless skin required protection from the elements. They discovered his clever hands could help clear thorns from their fur and remove porcupine quills with less pain. In return, they taught him their ways, their language of subtle gestures and meaningful sounds. The forest itself seemed to accept this unusual arrangement. Ravens began following the pack more closely, curious about the strange two-legged creature that ran with wolves. Deer learned to watch, not just for wolf shapes, but for the upright figure that moved with equal stealth. Even the bears granted the pack a wider territory, perhaps sensing something different about this unconventional family. Life in Pine Valley follows the rhythm of seasons, each bringing its own challenges and rewards. Spring fills the valleys with wildflowers and the first tender shoots that draw deer from their winter refuges. Summer brings long days of abundance when berries ripen in sun-dappled clearings and young animals learn their first lessons in survival. Fall paints the mountains in brilliant colors while the pack builds their winter fat reserves. Winter arrives with howling winds and deep snows, forcing all creatures to rely on the preparations and lessons of the previous seasons. The village adapts to these changes, just as the wolves do. Autumn sees a flurry of activity as humans stock their cellars and repair their homes. Winter brings long nights of storytelling around fires, when the oldest residents share tales of the mountain's mysteries. Spring has everyone watching the skies for returning birds and the ground for the first crocuses pushing through melting snow. Summer fills the days with work and the evenings with community gatherings under stars that seem close enough to touch. Grace Williams' stories about the wolves take on new meaning with each passing season. She speaks of times when wolves guided lost hunters home, of winters when wolf howls warned villagers of approaching storms. Some dismiss her tales as folklore, but others notice how the wolves seem to maintain an invisible boundary around the village, neither threatening livestock nor approaching too closely. David Parker's ranger logs tell their own story. Wolf populations in other areas decline, but the Evergreen Ridge packs remain strong. Game animals stay healthy, their numbers neither too high nor too low. The forest itself thrives, each species playing its part in an intricate dance of life and death, growth and decay. The village's monthly town meetings increasingly focus on the changing world beyond their valley. Other communities struggle with development pressures and environmental challenges, but Pine Valley remains remarkably unchanged. Some credit their strict conservation policies, others point to their isolation, but a few suggest something else protects their home. Michael Thompson's quiet dedication becomes part of the valley's rhythm. Each weekend, following the same trails, calling the same name. The forest seems to hold its breath when he passes, as if keeping a secret it's not ready to reveal. The villagers watch him with a mixture of admiration and pity, knowing that hope can be both a blessing and a curse. Emma Foster arrives in Pine Valley, fresh from university, armed with advanced degrees in wildlife biology and photography. She sees the valley with new eyes, noting details others have grown too familiar to notice. The way wolf territories never overlap with hiking trails, how the pack's howls seem to guide lost hikers towards safety. The strange absence of human-wildlife conflict in an area where it should be common. The seasons turn, marking time's passage with subtle changes. Pine needles fall, creating new layers of soft ground cover. Tree rings record the years in their silent way. Wolf pups grow into adults, learning their place in the pack's hierarchy. Human children become teenagers, then adults with children of their own. Through it all, the mountains watch, unchanging yet ever-changing, holding their secrets close. In Thunder Cave, the pack's life follows its own rhythm. Dawn patrols check territories and refresh scent markers. Hunting parties move like shadows through the forest, coordinating with an efficiency born of years of cooperation. Pups play under watchful eyes, learning the skills they'll need to survive. At night, the pack gathers in the main den, sharing warmth and unspoken companionship. The human cub grows stronger with each passing season. His body adapts to the mountain life, developing muscles needed for running on all fours when speed demands it. His senses sharpen until he can hear a mouse moving under snow or smell an approaching storm hours before it arrives. His mind bridges two worlds, understanding both wolf and human ways without fully belonging to either. As darkness falls each evening, the valley grows quiet. Lights twinkle from cabin windows like earthbound stars. The forest's nocturnal residents emerge, owls gliding silently between trees, foxes moving like smoke through underbrush. From Thunder Cave, wolf howls carry messages across the night sky, speaking of territories and hunts, dangers and discoveries. Grace Williams sits on her porch, listening to the night sounds with the patience of one who has learned to read nature's language. She rocks slowly in her chair, wondering if tonight will be the night the valley's greatest secret finally reveals itself. In the distance, a wolf howls, and for a moment she thinks she hears something else, a sound that might be wolf, might be human, or might be something in between. The story of Pine Valley is written in tracks left in morning dew, in worn paths, between trees, in the daily interactions between all its inhabitants, human and animal alike. It's a story of adaptation and acceptance, of boundaries respected and bridges built, but most of all, it's a story of family, not just those bound by blood, but those bound by choice, by circumstance, and by love that transcends species. As the moon rises over Evergreen Ridge, casting silver light across the valley, the distinction between wild and tame, between human and animal, grows less certain. In these moments, Pine Valley reveals its true nature, not as a place where civilization meets wilderness, but as a place where they become one and the same. This is the world that shaped a lost child into something unique, neither fully human nor fully wolf, but perfectly adapted to bridge both realms. It's a world where ancient wisdom meets modern understanding, where the lines between species blur, and where love knows no boundaries. This is the world of the wolf pack's child, where every day brings new lessons in survival, family, and the deep connections that bind all living things together. Winter came early to Pine Valley, bringing with it a silence that made even the wolves uneasy. The first storm swept down from the northern peaks with unexpected fury, catching both humans and animals unprepared. But it wasn't the snow that threatened the delicate balance of the valley, it was what the storm revealed. Rangers from the neighboring counties reported strange deaths among their wolf populations. A mysterious illness swept through the packs, leaving once mighty predators weakened and vulnerable. David Parker's morning radio crackled with updates, each more disturbing than the last. The disease was spreading, moving steadily toward Pine Valley's pristine wilderness. Luna sensed the approaching danger before any visible signs appeared. Her pack's behavior changed subtly at first, altered hunting patterns, increased vigilance, a reluctance to interact with wolves from neighboring territories. Old Sage, whose wisdom had guided the pack through countless challenges, spent long hours watching the northern ridges, her white fur blending with the early snow. The first casualty appeared on a frost-covered morning. Storm, the pack's swift. Scout discovered a lone wolf from a neighboring pack stumbling through their territory. The stranger's movements were erratic, its fur matted and eyes glazed with fever. Luna approached cautiously, but even from a distance, she could smell the sickness that ravaged its body. Alex witnessed the encounter from his perch in a nearby pine. His years among the wolves had taught him to read their body language as clearly as human speech. The way Luna held herself, the tension in her muscles, the subtle signals to keep the pack back, everything spoke of serious danger. When the sick wolf finally collapsed, its labored breathing echoing through the frozen forest, Alex felt a cold fear grip his heart. Emma Foster's wildlife cameras captured the spread of the illness. Each morning brought new footage: wolves with stumbling gaits, packs fragmenting as members fell ill, territories left undefended as the sickness took its toll. Her data painted a grim picture of an epidemic moving through the wolf populations with frightening speed. Grace Williams recognized the gravity of the situation from her years of observing the valley's delicate balance. Wolves weren't just predators here. They were guardians, maintaining an ancient equilibrium. Their absence would ripple through the entire ecosystem, affecting everything from deer populations to forest growth patterns. The village council convened an emergency meeting as news of the epidemic spread. The town hall filled with concerned voices discussing quarantine zones and wildlife management strategies. But it was Michael Thompson who asked the question everyone avoided. What would happen to Pine Valley if its wolf packs disappeared? David Parker worked tirelessly with wildlife officials to understand the illness. Blood samples from deceased wolves revealed a new variant of an old disease, one that specifically targeted canines. The virus seemed to spread through direct contact, but its rapid transmission suggested other vectors might be involved. Luna's pack faced difficult choices. Their territory bordered 3 other pack ranges, and maintaining these boundaries meant regular contact with potentially infected wolves. The alpha female began adjusting their movements, keeping the pack isolated from traditional meeting points and shared hunting grounds. Echo, young and strong, struggled with the new restrictions. The pack's reduced hunting range meant less food, and winter was already promising to be harsh. He pushed the boundaries whenever possible, earning sharp reprimands from Luna and concerned looks from Alex. The disease's impact extended beyond the wolves. Deer, sensing the predator's weakness, grew bolder. They ventured closer to human settlements, stripping bark from young trees and devastating gardens. The natural balance that had existed for generations began to fray. Alex found himself in a unique position to understand the full scope of the crisis. His human intelligence could grasp the scientific implications, while his wolf upbringing let him comprehend the immediate impact on his pack family. The knowledge weighed heavily on him as he watched Luna struggle to protect her diminishing territory. Emma's research took on new urgency. Her cameras documented the changing behavior, patterns as wolves adapted to the threat. She noticed something peculiar. Luna's pack showed unusual resistance to the illness. While neighboring packs succumbed, her wolves remained healthy, though increasingly isolated. Old Sage seemed to hold some knowledge about their resilience. The elderly wolf led the pack to specific locations where they would dig up and consume certain roots. She guided them to mineral-rich springs hidden deep in the territory. Her ancient wisdom, passed down through generations, might hold the key to survival. The situation grew more desperate as winter deepened. Food became scarcer as the pack's hunting range shrank. The younger wolves grew restless, their hunger making them more willing to risk exposure to infected areas. Luna's leadership faced its greatest test as she tried to balance survival with safety. The human response to the crisis threatened to make things worse. Wildlife officials proposed culling sick wolves to prevent spread, while others suggested capturing and quarantining entire packs. Each solution carried its own risks, none addressing the underlying mystery of Luna's pack's immunity. Alex spent sleepless nights moving between the pack and the outskirts of Cedar Creek Village, gathering what information he could about the spreading epidemic. His unique perspective allowed him to understand both the scientific data from ranger reports and the subtle changes in wolf behavior that indicated the disease's movement. The valley's native plant life held possible answers. Grace Williams' family records spoke of traditional remedies used by indigenous peoples to treat sick wolves. These same plants grew in Luna's territory, some of them carefully tended by generations of pack members through their seasonal movements. David Parker's research revealed patterns in the infection's spread. The disease moved faster through packs that had more contact with human-populated areas. Something about the isolation of Luna's territory, combined with their traditional behaviors, seemed to offer protection. The crisis forced Alex to confront his dual nature more directly than ever before. His human knowledge might hold the key to saving his wolf family, but using it meant revealing himself to the human world. The choice tormented him as he watched his pack struggle with diminishing resources and increasing threats. Emma Foster's observations led to a startling discovery. Luna's pack had developed unique behaviors over generations, not just their territory choices and hunting patterns, but their use of medicinal plants and minerals. These practices, passed down through wolf generations, might explain their resistance to the illness. The situation reached a critical point when a group of sick wolves approached Thunder Cave seeking shelter. Luna faced an impossible choice: offer sanctuary and risk her pack's health, or turn away fellow wolves in their hour of need. The decision would test not only her leadership, but the ancient traditions of wolf society. Old Sage's behavior became increasingly deliberate, almost ritualistic. She led the pack to specific locations at specific times, maintaining a complex pattern of movement that seemed to strengthen their resistance to the illness. Her actions suggested a deeper understanding of survival than mere instinct. The winter storms intensified, driving more sick wolves toward Luna's territory. The pack's boundaries required constant defense, not just against the infected, but against desperate, healthy wolves seeking new hunting grounds. Each encounter risked exposure. Each decision carried life or death consequences. Alex found himself pulled between his role as pack member and his growing awareness that human intervention might be necessary. His observations of Old Sage's healing practices could provide crucial information to wildlife officials, but sharing it meant exposing his existence and potentially destroying the pack's way of life. The valley itself seemed to respond to the crisis. Weather patterns shifted, creating natural barriers between territories. Plants used in Old Sage's healing rituals grew more abundantly in protected areas. Even the prey animals adjusted their movements, as if participating in an ancient dance of survival. Grace Williams watched these changes with growing concern. Her family's records spoke of similar crises in the past, times when the balance between wolf and human hung by a thread. Each time, the solution had come from cooperation between species, from recognizing their interdependence. The epidemic forced both wolves and humans to confront their shared vulnerability. The disease threatening the wolves could easily mutate to affect domestic dogs, then spread to human settlements. The barrier between wild and tame, between human and wolf, grew thinner as the crisis deepened. As winter tightened its grip on Pine Valley, the fate of wolves and humans hung in delicate balance. The solution lay somewhere between ancient wisdom and modern science, between wild instinct and human knowledge. And at the center of it all stood Alex, a child of both worlds, carrying the weight of choices that would determine the valley's future. Hidden within the oldest records of Pine Valley lies a deeper story, one that Grace Williams guards like a precious jewel. On nights when the moon hangs full over Evergreen Ridge, She opens a leather-bound journal passed down through 4 generations of her family. Its pages tell of an ancient pact between the first settlers and the wolves that ruled these mountains. Her great-grandmother, Margaret Williams, wrote of a harsh winter in 1889 when wolves saved the isolated settlement from starvation. The pack led the villagers to a hidden valley rich with game, marking safe paths through treacherous snow. That winter forged an unspoken agreement. The wolves would protect the valley's balance, and the humans would respect their guardianship. David Parker discovered his own piece of this history buried in the ranger station's archives. Decades of ranger logs revealed a pattern. Wolf packs in Pine Valley behaved differently from those anywhere else. They maintained consistent territories, never preyed on livestock, and seemed to actively avoid human conflict. More intriguingly, there were countless records of wolves appearing at crucial moments to guide lost hikers to safety. The native peoples who first inhabited these lands spoke of the spirit wolves, creatures that walked the boundary between the physical and spiritual worlds. Their cave paintings, still visible in hidden grottos throughout the valley, depicted wolves leading human children, teaching them the ways of the wilderness. These stories were more than mere legend to those who lived close to the land. Emma Foster's research uncovered scientific evidence supporting these tales. Pine Valley's wolf packs showed unique social behaviors and unprecedented problem-solving abilities. Their territories formed perfect boundaries that maintained ecological balance, as if the wolves understood principles of conservation that humans had only recently discovered. In Thunder Cave's deepest chamber, where even Alex rarely ventured, ancient claw marks told their own story. Generation upon generation of wolves had denned here, each pack adding its own marks to the cave's history. Old Sage often led the packs, pups to these chambers, teaching them their heritage through scent and touch, passing on memories that preceded human settlement. The valley itself seemed designed for coexistence. Natural boundaries created distinct territories that supported both human and wolf populations. The river system provided clear borders, while the mountain ridges offered vantage points for both species to monitor their shared domain. Even the weather patterns contributed, with seasonal changes that benefited all inhabitants equally. Michael Thompson's search for his son had led him to study these patterns. His cabin walls were covered with maps marking every wolf sighting, every mysterious track, every unexplained incident in the valley's history. He'd noticed how the wolves seemed to respond to human emergencies, appearing when needed most, as if fulfilling some ancient obligation. The relationship between wolves and humans in Pine Valley had always differed from other places. While other regions saw conflict and extinction, this valley maintained a delicate harmony. The wolves here displayed an almost supernatural awareness of human activities, adjusting their behavior to avoid confrontation while maintaining their role as guardians. Luna's pack carried this heritage in their blood. The alpha female's lineage stretched back to the valley's earliest recorded history. Her ancestors had guided countless lost souls to safety, maintained the delicate balance of prey and predator, and passed down an understanding of their sacred duty through generations. The valley's weather patterns played their part in this story. Storms that should have been devastating were often preceded by wolf howls, giving villagers time to prepare. Spring floods were met with wolf packs herding deer to higher ground, preventing the prey animals from being trapped in low-lying areas. Even forest fires seemed to burn differently here, as if some ancient wisdom guided their paths. Grace Williams spent years collecting stories from elderly residents, piecing together a history that defied conventional explanation. She learned of children who wandered into the woods only to be led home by wolves, of winters when wolf howls warned of avalanches, of times when the pack's movements predicted natural disasters with uncanny accuracy. The native elders spoke of a time when humans and wolves could communicate freely, when the boundary between species was more fluid. They told of children chosen by the wolves, taught the secrets of the wilderness, and returned to their people as bridges between worlds. These stories carried echoes of Alex's tale, though none knew how precisely history was repeating itself. Deep in the ranger station's records, David Parker found photographs dating back to the early 1900s. They showed wolves behaving in ways that contradicted everything known about wild animal behavior. Wolves waiting at trail crossings until lost hikers found their way. Wolves herding deer away from areas that later proved dangerous. Wolves appearing at crucial moments of human need. The valley's plant life told its own story of careful management. Wolves controlled deer populations, preventing overgrazing. This allowed rare plants to flourish, many with medicinal properties known to the native peoples. The entire ecosystem functioned like a carefully tended garden, maintained by the invisible paw prints of generations of wolf guardians. Emma Foster's camera captured evidence of this complex relationship. Her photographs showed wolf tracks deliberately placed over human footprints, as if the pack monitored every human movement through their territory. She documented wolves patrolling the exact boundaries their ancestors had established, maintaining borders that perfectly balanced the needs of all valley inhabitants. The cave systems themselves preserved records of this ancient partnership. Beyond the obvious den sites lay chambers where generations of wolves had left their marks. Some contained caches of unusual objects, weather-worn toys lost by human children, tattered clothing from rescued hikers, items that seemed deliberately preserved as testament to past interactions. Old Sage carried much of this history in her memories. Though she couldn't speak in human terms, her behavior taught young wolves about their responsibilities to the valley. She showed them the ancient trails, the safe dens, the places where their ancestors had performed their guardian duties. Her wisdom helped maintain the delicate balance between wild and tame. The valley seasons moved in rhythm with this ancient pact. Spring brought renewal, with wolves and humans alike celebrating new life. Summer saw careful maintenance of territories, with each species respecting the other's boundaries. Fall meant preparation, as both wolves and humans readied themselves for winter's challenges. Winter itself proved the partnership's value, as each species helped the other survive. Thunder Cave's walls held more than just shelter. They contained a record of climate changes, population shifts, and natural cycles. The wolves' den choices reflected their understanding of these patterns, showing an inherited wisdom about the valley's rhythms. Each generation added to this knowledge, adapting to new challenges while maintaining ancient traditions. Michael Thompson's research revealed patterns in wolf behavior that aligned with human needs. The pack's movements often anticipated natural disasters. Their howls carried warnings of approaching storms, and their hunting patterns helped maintain healthy prey populations. It was as if they consciously worked to protect all the valley's inhabitants, not just their own kind. The native people's oral histories spoke of a time when the boundary between human and wolf was more fluid, when those who lived in harmony with nature could shift between forms at will. These stories carried warnings about the cost of losing this connection, of forgetting the ancient partnerships that kept the world in balance. Grace Williams' family journal contained accounts of wolves appearing during crucial moments in the valley's history. They guided settlers away from dangerous areas, led search parties to lost children, and somehow knew which human activities to tolerate and which to discourage. Their behavior suggested not just intelligence, but a deep understanding of their role as guardians. The valley's weather patterns, studied by generations of residents, showed unusual characteristics. Storms often seemed to split around wolf territories, following paths that minimized damage to both human and wolf communities. Even the harshest winters left corridors of accessible land, as if the weather itself respected the ancient pact between species. David Parker's modern ranger logs continued this record of extraordinary wolf behavior. He documented cases of wolves, leading rescuers to injured hikers, preventing forest fires by their unusual movements, and maintaining game populations at sustainable levels. His scientific training struggled to explain these patterns, yet the evidence was undeniable. Luna's pack maintained traditions whose origins were lost in time. Their hunting techniques, den selections, and territorial habits reflected generations of accumulated wisdom about living in balance with human neighbors. They passed this knowledge to each new generation, ensuring the continuation of their guardian role. The valley's plant and animal life showed the effects of this long partnership. Species that had vanished from other regions thrived here, protected by the careful balance maintained by the wolves. The forest itself grew differently, shaped by centuries of wolf-managed deer populations and human conservation efforts. Emma Foster's research revealed how wolf territories aligned perfectly with the valley's natural features, creating a sustainable system that benefited all inhabitants. Her studies showed how the pack's movements influenced everything from prey animal populations to forest growth patterns, maintaining an ecological balance that seemed almost designed. The caves that honeycombed Evergreen Ridge preserved evidence of this ancient relationship. Some chambers contained bones from centuries of wolf hunts, arranged in patterns that suggested ritual significance. Others held items from human history, artifacts that the wolves seemed to protect and preserve through generations. Old Sage's behavior reflected this deep history. She taught young wolves to recognize human distress calls, to guide lost hikers without revealing themselves, to maintain the careful balance that kept the valley unique. Her lessons weren't just about survival. They were about maintaining an ancient legacy of guardianship. The changing seasons brought rituals that reinforced these connections. Wolf howls marked the first frost, the spring thaw, the summer solstice. Their movements followed patterns established by their ancestors, maintaining traditions that predated human memory. Even their choice of den sites reflected this inherited wisdom, as each location served specific purposes in the valley's complex ecology. Through all these layers of history, through every season and generation, the story remained constant. Wolves and humans sharing a valley, maintaining a balance, protecting a legacy older than memory. This was the world that had shaped Alex, the heritage he had inherited from both his human birth and his wolf upbringing. In him, the ancient partnership found new expression, bridging worlds that had grown too far apart. The moon cast silver shadows through Thunder Cave's entrance as Luna watched her adopted son sleep. Alex's chest rose and fell steadily, his human form curled against Echo's warm fur. In these quiet moments, the alpha female remembered the night that changed everything. A night much like this, when fate brought a lost child to her pack. Snow had fallen heavily that evening, covering the valley in pristine white. Luna led her pack through their evening patrol when the scent of human blood caught her attention. Following the trace through deepening snow, she discovered a scene that would alter her world forever. A small child, barely more than a toddler, huddled beneath a fallen pine. His skin had taken on a dangerous blue tinge, but his eyes held a spark that called to something deep within Luna's soul. Most wolves would have moved on, leaving nature to take its course. But Luna recognized something in the child's unwavering gaze, a spirit that matched her own. Without hesitation, she approached the freezing child. When he reached out to touch her muzzle with tiny, frost-bitten fingers, the connection was instant and profound. Echo, then just a young pup himself, was the first to accept the strange new pack member. While other wolves remained cautious, Echo treated Alex like a littermate from the start. They learned to hunt together, play together, and communicate in a language that bridged the gap between their species. Their bond grew stronger with each passing season until it became impossible to tell where one's loyalty ended and the other's began. Old Sage contributed to Alex's upbringing in her own unique way. The elderly wolf possessed wisdom that transcended ordinary pack knowledge. She taught Alex to read the stars for navigation, to recognize healing plants by scent, and to understand the subtle changes in wind that predicted weather patterns. Her lessons went beyond mere survival skills. She taught him to think like both wolf and human, to use his unique perspective as a strength rather than a weakness. Thunder, the pack's strongest hunter, initially viewed the human cub with suspicion. But as Alex grew and began joining hunts, Thunder recognized the advantages of having a pack member who could think strategically and use tools. The massive black wolf became Alex's mentor in tracking and hunting, teaching him to combine human intelligence with wolf instinct. Storm, swift and silent, taught Alex the art of stealth. Together they developed hunting techniques that utilized Alex's ability to climb trees and use high vantage points. The grey wolf's patience helped Alex master the skill of moving silently through the forest, even on two legs. Their partnership revolutionized the pack's hunting success. The relationship between Luna and Alex transcended ordinary bonds between alpha and pack member. She became more than a leader or protector. She became a mother in every way that mattered. Her love shaped Alex's development, teaching him not just survival, but compassion, loyalty, and the true meaning of family. As Alex grew stronger, Luna watched him develop unique abilities that combined human and wolf traits. He could run on all fours when speed demanded it, but also use his hands to create tools and solve problems beyond wolf capabilities. His mind bridged both worlds, understanding pack dynamics while retaining human problem-solving skills. The pack's social structure adapted to accommodate their unusual member. Alex's position was unique, not quite alpha, but more than a regular pack member. His ability to understand both wolf and human worlds made him an invaluable interpreter of potential threats and opportunities. The pack learned to trust his judgment about human activities in their territory. Luna's teaching methods evolved. As Alex grew, she discovered ways to communicate complex ideas through demonstration and patience. When Alex struggled with his dual nature, Luna would lead him to quiet places where they could sit together, her presence offering comfort and acceptance without need for words. Echo's friendship proved crucial during Alex's challenging transitions between wolf and human behavior. When Alex felt too human, Echo would engage him in wolf play, rolling in snow or chasing through underbrush until the wild joy of pack life overshadowed all else. When Alex needed to practice human skills, Echo would watch patiently, offering silent support. The pack's hunting strategies transformed through Alex's integration. His human intelligence combined with wolf instinct created new techniques that improved their success rate. Luna encouraged this innovation, recognizing that adaptation was key to survival. The pack became stronger, not despite their human member, but because of him. Old Sage's den became a sanctuary where Alex could explore his dual nature. The ancient wolf's calm presence helped him reconcile his conflicting instincts. She seemed to understand his struggles, offering wisdom through subtle gestures and meaningful looks that transcended species barriers. Thunder's initial skepticism transformed into deep respect as he witnessed Alex's contributions to the pack. The large wolf became one of Alex's strongest advocates, often demonstrating through actions that the human cub was as much a pack member as any wolf. Their partnership during hunts became legendary within the pack. Storm's influence helped Alex develop his observational skills. The swift scout taught him to read subtle signs in nature: disturbed leaves, bent grass, shifted pebbles. These lessons, combined with his human analytical abilities, made Alex an unparalleled tracker. Together, they could reconstruct entire stories from the faintest traces in the forest. The pack's younger members looked up to Alex as both leader and teacher. He taught them to be cautious around human settlements while understanding that not all humans were threats. His presence helped the pack adapt to the changing world beyond their territory, preparing the next generation for increasing human contact. Luna's protection of Alex extended beyond physical safety. She recognized his need to understand his human side and allowed him to secretly observe the village from safe distances. Her wisdom showed in knowing when to hold tight and when to allow exploration. This balance helped Alex develop a healthy curiosity about his human origins without feeling torn from his pack family. The seasonal changes brought new dimensions to Alex's relationship with the pack. During winter months, his human ability to maintain fire helped keep the den warm. In spring, he could identify which plants were safe to eat. Summer saw him creating simple tools to help the pack cope with heat, while autumn found him helping prepare for winter's challenges. Echo's playful nature helped Alex maintain joy in his dual existence. Their games combined wolf roughhousing with human creativity, creating unique activities that enriched pack life. Whether racing through forest obstacles or solving hunting puzzles together, their partnership demonstrated the best of both species. Old Sage's teachings took on deeper meaning as Alex matured. She showed him how wolf wisdom could apply to human challenges and how human knowledge could benefit the pack. Her lessons emphasized the interconnectedness of all things, helping Alex see his unique position as a bridge rather than a divide. Luna's pride in her adopted son showed in subtle ways. The tilt of her head when he mastered a new skill, the soft whine of approval when he made wise decisions, the gentle nudge of encouragement when he struggled. Her leadership style adapted to incorporate his strengths, creating a more resilient and adaptable pack. Thunder's acceptance of Alex inspired the other wolves to embrace his differences. The massive hunter demonstrated through actions that strength came in many forms. His trust in Alex during hunts showed the pack that human traits could complement wolf abilities rather than weaken them. Storm's partnership with Alex during scouting missions revealed the potential of combining human and wolf capabilities. Together, they developed a complex system of signals that improved the pack's communication during hunts. Their success proved that cooperation between species could create something greater than either could achieve alone. The pack's social dynamics evolved to incorporate human elements through Alex's influence. They became more adaptable, better at problem solving, and more capable of dealing with changes in their environment. Luna's wisdom in accepting and nurturing these changes strengthened the pack's chances of survival in a changing world. The bonds of family grew stronger through shared experiences, surviving harsh winters, celebrating successful hunts, mourning lost pack members, welcoming new pups. Each challenge and triumph reinforced the truth that family transcends species. Luna's decision to save a human child had created something unique and precious. Echo's unwavering friendship provided Alex with a constant reminder of his place in the pack. Their bond demonstrated that love knows no boundaries, that family is defined by heart rather than blood. Together, they represented hope for a future where differences strengthen rather than divide. Old Sage's quiet approval carried special weight. Her age and wisdom gave authority to Alex's position in the pack. Through her acceptance, other wolves learned to see beyond appearances, to recognize the strength of spirit that made Alex truly one of them. The pack's territory became more than just hunting grounds. It became a testing ground for cooperation between species. Alex's presence helped the wolves adapt to increasing human encroachment while maintaining their wild nature. Luna's leadership ensured this balance served both pack survival and Alex's development. As seasons turned to years, the bonds between Alex and his wolf family grew deeper and more complex. Each pack member contributed to his development in unique ways, while his presence enriched their lives and strengthened their survival skills. Luna's choice to adopt a human child had created ripples that transformed both wolf and human understanding of family, loyalty, and love. The story of a wolf pack raising a human child became more than just a tale of survival. It became a testament to the power of love to transcend boundaries, of family to overcome differences, and of wisdom to recognize that strength often comes in unexpected forms. In the quiet moments beneath the moon, Luna's decision continued to shape not just Alex's life, but the future of relations between humans and wolves in Pine Valley. Time flowed like the mountain streams through Pine Valley as Alex grew from a curious child into a skilled survivor. Each season brought new lessons, each challenge shaped his unique abilities, and each passing year deepened his connection to both his wolf family and his growing awareness of the human world beyond their territory. Spring mornings found Alex and Echo patrolling the valley's eastern ridges, their movements synchronized through years of partnership. Alex had developed a distinctive running style that combined human balance with wolf agility, allowing him to keep pace with his wolf brother across varying terrain. Together, they created hunting techniques that utilized both species' strengths. Luna watched her adopted Sunmaster skills no human or wolf could achieve alone. His hands crafted simple tools that improved the pack's hunting success, while his wolf-learned instincts helped him move silently through the densest underbrush. She had taught him to lead without dominating, to show strength through wisdom rather than force. Thunder Cave became a workshop where Alex experimented with his developing abilities. He learned to create snares from vines, to fashion spears from straight branches, and to use his understanding of wolf behavior to develop more efficient hunting strategies. The pack's territory evolved into a testing ground for his innovations. Old Sage's patient guidance helped Alex understand the valley's complex ecosystem. She showed him how to read weather patterns in cloud formations, to predict prey movements based on subtle environmental changes, and to locate medicinal plants that could heal both wolf and human ailments. Her wisdom bridged the gap between instinct and intelligence. Storm's swift hunting style inspired Alex to develop techniques that combined speed with strategy. They perfected the art of herding prey into natural traps, using the valley's terrain to their advantage. Their success helped the pack thrive even during lean seasons, when other predators struggled to find enough food. The changing seasons brought new challenges that tested Alex's adaptability. Summer heat required innovative solutions for keeping the pack cool, while autumn's preparation for winter demanded careful planning and resource management. Each challenge pushed him to combine human creativity with wolf instinct in unique ways. Echo's playful nature helped Alex maintain his joy in discovery. They spent hours exploring the valley's hidden caves and secret meadows, each expedition teaching them more about their territory and each other. Their bond demonstrated how friendship could transcend species, creating something stronger than either could achieve alone. Luna's leadership style evolved to incorporate Alex's growing abilities. She recognized that his unique perspective could help the pack adapt to the changing world beyond their territory. Under her guidance, the pack learned to use his innovations while maintaining their essential wolf nature. The pack's hunting success improved dramatically as Alex matured. His ability to anticipate prey movements, combined with the wolves' natural hunting skills, made them an unstoppable team. They developed silent signals and coordinated strategies that allowed them to take down larger prey with minimal risk. Thunder's strength complemented Alex's strategy during hunts. The massive wolf learned to work with Alex's plans, using his power more efficiently through carefully planned approaches. Their partnership showed how different abilities could combine to create more effective hunting techniques. Storm's scouting abilities reached new levels when paired with Alex's strategic thinking. Together, they developed a system for monitoring the valley's changing conditions and tracking multiple prey animals simultaneously. Their methods helped the pack maintain awareness of both opportunities and threats throughout their territory. Old Sage's den became a place of learning where Alex could explore the deeper mysteries of wolf wisdom. She taught him to understand the subtle messages carried on the wind, to recognize the signs of changing seasons before they became apparent, and to sense approaching dangers through careful observation of nature's patterns. The pack's younger members learned from Alex's example, developing their own unique approaches to hunting and survival. His presence encouraged innovation while maintaining respect for traditional wolf ways. The pack became stronger through this combination of old wisdom and new techniques. Luna's decision to raise a human child proved more profound with each passing season. Alex's development showed how adaptation and acceptance could strengthen both individual and pack. His unique abilities helped the pack thrive in ways that would have been impossible for either species alone. Echo's friendship with Alex inspired the other wolves to accept human elements in their territory. When Alex created new tools or suggested different hunting strategies, Echo's immediate acceptance helped the pack overcome their natural caution. Their partnership became a bridge between wild and human ways. The valley itself seemed to embrace Alex's dual nature. Natural shelters became storage spaces for his tools, fallen logs transformed into lookout posts, and shallow caves served as workshops for his innovations. The landscape adapted to serve both wolf and human needs. Storm's teaching style complemented Alex's learning process. The swift wolf showed him how to move silently through different terrains, to read the subtle signs of prey passage, and to understand the complex language of scent and track. Their partnership produced new hunting techniques that combined the best of both species. Thunder's acceptance of Alex's leadership during hunts showed the pack's evolution. The powerful wolf learned to wait for signals, to follow complex plans, and to trust human strategy. Their successful hunts proved that strength guided by intelligence could achieve more than either quality alone. Old Sage's wisdom helped Alex understand his role as a bridge between worlds. She showed him how to maintain his wolf family connections while developing his human abilities. Her guidance helped him find balance between his dual natures, creating harmony rather than conflict. The pack's territory expanded naturally as their improved hunting techniques required less space to sustain them. Alex's innovations helped them use the land more efficiently, while their wolf instincts maintained the traditional boundaries that kept peace with neighboring packs. Luna's pride in her adopted son showed in the way she incorporated his ideas into pack life. She understood that his differences strengthened rather than weakened their family. Her acceptance helped the other wolves see beyond species boundaries to recognize the value of diversity. Echo's constant companionship helped Alex develop confidence in his unique abilities. Whether practicing new hunting techniques or exploring unknown territories, their partnership proved that trust and friendship could overcome any obstacle. Their bond became legendary among the younger wolves. The seasons brought new opportunities for Alex to prove his worth to the pack. During winter storms, his fire-making skills provided warmth. In spring, his knowledge of plants helped identify new food sources. Summer heat became more bearable through his water-finding abilities, while autumn saw him creating new food storage solutions. Storm's influence helped Alex develop an almost supernatural awareness of their territory. Together, they created a network of observation points that allowed them to monitor the entire valley. Their system helped the pack anticipate changes and respond to threats before they became dangerous. Thunder's protective instincts toward Alex grew stronger as he recognized the young human's contribution to pack survival. The massive wolf became both guardian and student, learning new hunting methods while teaching Alex the finer points of wolf strength and stamina. Old Sage's teachings took on new meaning as Alex grew older. She helped him understand that his unique position carried both privilege and responsibility. Her lessons emphasized the importance of using his abilities to benefit both pack and valley. The pack's hunting grounds became a testing ground for cooperation between species. Alex's human intelligence combined with wolf instinct created new possibilities for survival. Their success proved that differences could become advantages when guided by mutual trust and respect. Luna's leadership flourished as she learned to balance traditional wolf ways with Alex's innovations. She created a new kind of pack that could adapt to changing conditions while maintaining their essential nature. Her wisdom in accepting change while preserving tradition ensured their survival. Echo's unwavering support helped Alex through moments of doubt about his place in the pack. When human awareness threatened to overwhelm him, Echo's wolf perspective restored his balance. Their friendship proved that family bonds transcend physical differences. The valley's natural rhythms became more understandable as Alex learned to combine human observation with wolf instinct. He could predict weather changes, anticipate prey movements, and sense approaching dangers with increasing accuracy. His growing abilities helped the pack thrive in all conditions. Storm's patience helped Alex refine his tracking skills beyond what either wolf or human could achieve alone. They developed ways to follow prey through any terrain, under any conditions. Their methods became essential to the pack's hunting success. Thunder's acceptance of Alex's leadership during hunts inspired the other wolves to trust human innovation. The sight of their strongest member following Alex's signals showed that true strength includes knowing when to learn from others. Old Sage's quiet approval carried special weight as Alex developed new skills. Her acceptance showed the younger wolves that change could strengthen rather than threaten their way of life. Her wisdom helped the pack embrace evolution while maintaining their wolf essence. The story of a human child raised by wolves became more than just a tale of survival. It demonstrated how love, trust, and acceptance could overcome any barrier. Each passing season proved that family transcends species, that wisdom comes in many forms, and that strength lies in embracing rather than fearing differences. Moonlight filtered through the dense canopy of Pine Valley as Alex perched in his favorite oak tree, watching the lights of Cedar Creek Village twinkle in the distance. His heart felt heavy with questions that grew stronger with each passing season. The valley stretched before him like a divide between two worlds, and for the first time in his life, he felt truly caught between them. These midnight vigils had become more frequent lately. While Echo slept peacefully in Thunder Cave, Alex would slip away to this solitary perch, drawn by an inexplicable pull toward the human settlement. He studied the patterns of light and movement, trying to understand the strange longing that tugged at his soul. Luna noticed these changes in her adopted son. She watched with knowing eyes as Alex collected small objects from abandoned hiking trails, a torn page from a book, a broken compass, a tattered photograph. Each item seemed to awaken something in him, stirring memories or instincts long dormant beneath his wolf upbringing. During hunts, Alex found his concentration wavering. The familiar thrill of running with the pack now competed with burning questions about his origins. When they passed near human camping sites, he lingered longer than necessary, studying the strange tools and materials left behind. His keen nose caught scents that triggered fragments of forgotten memories. Old Sage observed these struggles with ancient wisdom. She had seen such inner battles before, though never quite like this. The elderly wolf spent long hours with Alex, her silent presence offering comfort as he sorted through his conflicting emotions. Her eyes held understanding of things beyond ordinary wolf knowledge. Echo sensed his brother's turmoil and tried to help in his own way. He would nudge Alex toward their favorite hunting grounds or initiate playful chases through moonlit meadows, attempting to reconnect him with the joy of pack life. But even Echo's devoted friendship couldn't entirely bridge the growing gap between Alex's two natures. Storm's swift running no longer seemed to satisfy Alex's restless spirit. Where once he found peace in matching her graceful pace through the forest, now his mind wandered to questions about the human world. He wondered about their strange structures, their complex tools, their mysterious ways of communicating. The change of seasons brought new dimensions to Alex's inner conflict. As autumn painted the valley in brilliant colors, he found himself studying the migrating birds with envy. They moved freely between worlds, belonging everywhere and nowhere. Their freedom to cross boundaries stirred something deep within him. Thunder's protective instinct sensed Alex's unrest. The massive wolf stayed closer during hunts, as if worried his human pack member might suddenly vanish into the mysterious world beyond their territory. His concern showed in subtle ways, a gentle nudge here, a watchful glance there. Luna's leadership faced its greatest challenge in guiding Alex through this turbulent time. She recognized the signs of his growing awareness, understanding that this journey was as natural as a wolf pup's first solo hunt. Yet her heart ached, watching him struggle between the only family he knew and the world that had first claimed him. The pack's younger members noticed changes in their unique pack brother. Alex's lessons became intermittent, his mind often distant during teaching sessions. They watched with confusion as he spent more time alone, studying the valley's boundaries. Where wolf territory met human domain, Old Sage's den became a sanctuary where Alex could openly express his confusion. The ancient wolf listened without judgment as he sorted through his feelings, her quiet presence anchoring him when the weight of his questions became too heavy. She seemed to understand that some journeys must be traveled alone. Emma Foster's occasional appearances at the valley's edge added new complexity to Alex's turmoil. He observed her from hidden positions, fascinated by her careful movements and the strange devices she carried. Her presence awakened questions about human relationships and connections he had never known. The valley itself seemed to reflect Alex's internal struggle. Mist gathered in the lowlands between wolf territory and human settlement, creating a mysterious boundary that mirrored his own divided nature. Each morning brought new questions. Each sunset left them unanswered. Storm's teaching sessions became opportunities for Alex to voice his growing curiosity. As they tracked game through the forest, he would ask about human settlements they glimpsed from ridgetops. The swift wolf couldn't answer his questions, but her patient presence helped him process his thoughts. Thunder's strength provided stability during Alex's moments of doubt. The powerful wolf's unwavering loyalty reminded him that family transcends species. Yet even this comfort carried its own kind of pain, highlighting the depth of what he might lose by exploring his human nature. The changing weather matched Alex's turbulent emotions. Spring rains brought renewal and possibility. Summer heat sparked restless energy. Autumn winds carried messages of change. And winter snows demanded choices between comfort and exploration. Each season added new layers to his internal conflict. Luna's motherly instincts sensed the depth of Alex's struggle. She watched him study his reflection in still pools, comparing his features to the wolves around him. Her heart understood that love sometimes means allowing those we care for to question their place in the world. Echo's friendship remained constant. Despite Alex's changing behavior, the wolf's unconditional acceptance provided a foundation when everything else seemed uncertain. Their shared history reminded Alex that identity isn't determined by species alone, but by the bonds we forge and the choices we make. The pack's territory became both sanctuary and prison as Alex's awareness grew. Each familiar landmark now carried double meaning. The comfort of home alongside questions about what lay beyond. The boundaries that once represented safety now sparked curiosity about the world they contained. Old Sage's wisdom offered perspective during Alex's darkest moments. She showed him how the valley itself was neither fully wild nor fully tamed, existing in perfect balance between two worlds. Her lessons suggested that perhaps he didn't need to choose between his natures, but could find strength in embracing both. The night sounds of the valley took on new significance as Alex's understanding deepened. Wolf howls mingled with distant human voices, creating a symphony that emphasized his unique position between worlds. Each sound sparked questions about belonging and identity. Storm's silent companionship provided space for Alex to process his thoughts. During their swift runs through moonlit forests, he could voice his fears without judgment. The wind carried away his words, but the relief of expression remained. Thunder's protective presence became both comfort and constraint. The massive wolf's devotion highlighted everything Alex stood to lose by exploring his human nature, yet also demonstrated the unconditional love that would support him through any choice. The seasonal changes brought new dimensions to Alex's quest for identity. Spring's renewal sparked questions about rebirth and transformation. Summer's abundance highlighted the richness of his wolf life. Autumn's changes emphasized the possibility of transformation, and winter's challenges tested his commitment to both worlds. Luna's leadership took on new subtlety as she guided Alex through this period of questioning. She created opportunities for him to explore his curiosity while maintaining his connection to the pack. Her wisdom showed in knowing when to hold tight and when to allow distance. Echo's steadfast friendship anchored Alex during his most uncertain moments. Their shared experiences reminded him that identity grows from connection rather than category. The wolf's acceptance suggested that perhaps he didn't need to resolve all his questions to know where he belonged. The valley's natural rhythms offered lessons about coexistence. Predator and prey, forest and meadow, river and rock, all existed in balance despite their differences. These patterns suggested possibilities for bridging the gap between Alex's wolf and human natures. Old Sage's ancient knowledge provided context for Alex's struggles. Her teachings revealed that the valley had always been a place of transformation, where boundaries blurred and identities evolved. Her wisdom suggested that his journey was part of a larger pattern. The changing moon phases marked time's passage as Alex wrestled with his questions. Each cycle brought new insights. Each shadow suggested new possibilities. The rhythm of celestial changes reminded him that transformation is natural, even necessary. Storm's swift movements through the forest demonstrated freedom within boundaries. The wolf's mastery of territory, while respecting its limits, offered a model for navigating between worlds. Her example suggested ways to explore without losing connection to home. Thunder's strength showed different forms of power, physical prowess balanced with emotional support. The wolf's ability to be both fierce and gentle demonstrated how opposing qualities could coexist within one being. His example offered hope for reconciling Alex's dual nature. The pack's social structure provided framework for Alex's personal journey. Each member contributed unique strengths while maintaining group cohesion. Their unity, despite differences, suggested possibilities for harmonizing his conflicting identities. Luna's nurturing guidance helped Alex understand that growth often requires questioning. Her leadership demonstrated how to maintain connection while allowing exploration. Her love provided safe harbor during storms of uncertainty. The story of a wolf-raised human facing his nature became more than personal struggle. It represented the eternal quest for identity and belonging. Each question led to deeper understanding, each doubt sparked new insight, and each moment of uncertainty carried seeds of future strength. Dawn painted Pine Valley in shades of gold when Alex made a discovery that would change everything. While exploring a rarely visited section of Thunder Cave's deepest chambers, his keen eyes caught a glint of metal in the weak light. Brushing away years of dust and debris, he uncovered a small locket, its surface tarnished but intact. The simple act of opening the clasp unleashed a flood of memories, long buried beneath years of wolf upbringing. Inside, a tiny photograph showed a smiling woman with his eyes, holding a toddler whose wild brown hair matched his own. The image struck him like lightning, awakening something that had slumbered in his soul. Luna sensed the change in her adopted son the moment he emerged from the cave. His scent carried notes of confusion and discovery. His movements held a new awareness. She approached cautiously, understanding that something fundamental had shifted in their relationship. The locket dangled from his fingers, catching the morning light. Old Sage watched from her favorite resting spot as Alex showed Luna his discovery. The ancient wolf's eyes held knowledge of things beyond ordinary understanding. She had known this day would come, had perhaps even guided events toward this moment through her subtle influence over the years. Echo approached his brother with unusual caution, sensing the gravity of the moment. The wolf's normally playful demeanor gave way to quiet support as Alex struggled to process his discovery. Their bond, strengthened through years of shared experiences, faced its greatest test. The locket became a key unlocking doors in Alex's mind. Fragments of memory surfaced, a woman's gentle voice singing lullabies, the warmth of human arms, the sound of laughter echoing through a house he could barely remember. Each recollection added pieces to a puzzle he hadn't known existed. Storm observed these changes from a distance, her swift movements slowing to match Alex's contemplative pace. She recognized the signs of transformation, having seen how nature reshaped itself through seasons of change. Her presence offered stability as Alex's world tilted on its axis. Thunder maintained a protective vigil as Alex grappled with his discovery. The massive wolf's strength provided anchor points when waves of memory threatened to overwhelm his pack brother. His steady presence reminded Alex that revelation didn't have to mean rejection of all he had known. Grace Williams, tending her garden at the valley's edge, noticed unusual activity among the wolves. Their movements carried purpose beyond ordinary patrols. Their howls held notes she hadn't heard before. Her years of observing valley life had taught her to read such signs. The valley itself seemed to hold its breath as Alex pieced together his history. Wind whispered through pine needles with unusual gentleness, streams murmured ancient secrets, and even the birds fell quiet during key moments of discovery. Nature itself appeared to recognize the significance of this revelation. Emma Foster's research took an unexpected turn when she captured photographs of Alex examining the locket. Through her long-range lens, she witnessed moments of profound realization playing across his features. Her scientific training couldn't explain the depth of emotion she observed. Luna's leadership faced its greatest challenge as she watched her adopted son reconnect with his human origins. Her love had always been unconditional, but now she needed to demonstrate that acceptance included supporting his journey of self-discovery. Her heart understood that true love sometimes means letting go. Old Sage's wisdom provided context for Alex's revelation. She led him to places where wolf and human territories overlapped, showing how boundaries could be bridges rather than barriers. Her ancient knowledge suggested paths forward that honored both sides of his nature. The locket's discovery rippled through the pack's dynamic. Younger wolves sensed the change in their unique pack member, responding with mixture of curiosity and concern. They watched Alex with new eyes, wondering perhaps if his differences would finally overshadow his belonging. Echo's unwavering loyalty proved crucial during this period of transformation. When Alex spent hours staring at the photograph, Echo would sit beside him, offering wordless companionship. Their friendship demonstrated that some bonds transcend understanding. Storm's swift running provided Alex with opportunities to process his emotions. Together they covered vast distances across the valley, their movement releasing tension that words couldn't express. The physical activity helped integrate his expanding sense of identity. Thunder's protective instincts adapted to include guarding Alex during his vulnerable moments of reflection. The powerful wolf understood that sometimes strength means standing watch, while others wrestle with internal storms. His presence offered security as Alex explored uncertain emotional territory. The valley's natural rhythms offered metaphors for Alex's journey of discovery. Rivers carved new paths while maintaining their essential nature. Trees added rings of growth without losing their core, and seasons changed while the land remained constant. These patterns suggested ways to embrace change without losing identity. Luna's maternal instincts guided her response to Alex's growing awareness. She recognized that his discovery didn't diminish their bond, but added new dimensions to it. Her acceptance of his need to understand his origins strengthened rather than weakened their connection. The pack's territory took on new meaning as Alex began recognizing signs of his human past. Places he had known since childhood revealed previously hidden significance. Each landmark told two stories now, one of his wolf life and one of his human heritage. Old Sage's Den became a sanctuary, where Alex could safely explore his expanding identity. The ancient wolf's calm presence helped him integrate his recovering memories with his present reality. Her wisdom suggested that understanding origins enriches rather than replaces current bonds. Grace Williams felt the significance of changes occurring in the valley. Her family's long history of observing wolf behavior helped her recognize patterns of transformation. She understood that something momentous was unfolding in the delicate balance between human and wolf domains. Emma Foster's documentation captured the physical manifestation of Alex's internal journey. Her photographs showed subtle changes in his interaction with the pack, moments of profound connection balanced with periods of solitary reflection. Her observations recorded a unique chapter in the relationship between species. The revelation of Alex's origins created ripples affecting every aspect of pack life. Hunting patterns adjusted to accommodate his increasing interest in human territories. Patrol routes expanded to include areas that might hold more clues to his past, and den life evolved to support his journey of discovery. Luna's leadership demonstrated wisdom in allowing space for transformation while maintaining pack cohesion. She understood that Alex's growing awareness of his human nature didn't threaten pack stability, but offered opportunities for deeper understanding between worlds. Echo's friendship provided constant reminder that identity transcends categories. The wolf's acceptance of Alex remained unchanged despite the dramatic revelations, demonstrating that true bonds survive and strengthen through periods of growth and change. Storm's teachings took on new significance as Alex began viewing familiar territories through transformed awareness. The swift wolf helped him develop techniques for moving between wolf and human domains, building bridges between his expanding worlds. Thunder's strength supported Alex through moments of overwhelming emotion. The powerful wolf's steady presence anchored him when waves of memory threatened to sweep away his sense of self. Their bond demonstrated how acceptance provides foundation for growth. The valley's inhabitants, both human and wolf, sensed the significance of unfolding events. Birds carried messages between territories. Deer adjusted their patterns to changing pack behavior, and even the weather seemed to respond to the energy of transformation. Old sages' ancient wisdom helped Alex understand that his revelation formed a part of a larger pattern. Her teachings suggested that the valley had always been a place where boundaries blurred and identities evolved. His journey represented natural progression rather than disruption. The story of a wolf-raised human discovering his origins became testament to the power of love transcending boundaries. Each moment of revelation added depth to existing bonds, while creating space for new connections. The unfolding truth demonstrated that understanding origins enriches rather than diminishes present relationships. Morning mist cloaked Pine Valley as Alex ventured closer to Cedar Creek Village than ever before. The early light cast long shadows through the trees, providing cover as he observed the awakening settlement. From his carefully chosen vantage point, the human world seemed both foreign and strangely familiar. Emma Foster arrived at her usual photography spot near Whispering Falls, unaware that today would be different from all others. Her camera equipment spread around her like familiar friends as she prepared to document the valley's wildlife. The soft click of her shutter masked the sound of approaching footsteps. When their eyes met across the clearing, time seemed to pause. Emma's hand froze on her camera, her breath caught in her throat. Alex stood at the forest's edge, neither advancing nor retreating, his presence bridging two worlds. The moment stretched between them like a thread of possibility. Luna watched from the shadows, her heart both heavy and hopeful. She had followed Alex at a distance, understanding that this moment was inevitable. Her golden eyes studied the human female, reading the gentleness in her movements, the absence of threat in her posture. Emma's scientific training hadn't prepared her for this encounter. The young man before her moved with wild grace, his eyes holding wisdom beyond human experience. She lowered her camera slowly, deliberately, and sat down on a nearby log, making herself appear smaller and less threatening. The silence between them filled with meaning as Alex took cautious steps forward. His movements combined human righteousness with wolf wariness, each step carefully measured. Emma remained still, her breathing steady, her eyes soft and welcoming. Words came slowly at first, Alex's voice rough from disuse of human speech. Emma waited patiently as he formed each sound, her face showing only encouragement. Their first conversation flowed like a mountain stream, finding its path naturally around obstacles. Storm patrolled the perimeter of their meeting place, her swift movements providing security as two worlds began to merge. She recognized the importance of this moment, understanding that her pack brother needed to explore this connection. Thunder maintained a protective vigil from higher ground, his massive form hidden among the rocks. His presence offered silent support as Alex navigated this new territory of human interaction. The powerful wolf's instincts told him this encounter would change everything. Echo struggled with conflicting emotions as he watched his brother engage with the human female. The wolf's loyalty warred with fear of losing his closest companion. His soft whines carried notes of uncertainty and hope. Old Sage observed from her favorite resting spot, her ancient wisdom recognizing patterns repeating through time. She had seen such meetings before, understood their significance in the greater flow of valley life. Her calm presence helped steady the younger wolves. Emma's gentle questioning drew out Alex's story piece by piece. Her background in wildlife research gave her unique perspective on his unusual upbringing. She listened without judgment as he described life with the pack, her scientific mind cataloging details while her heart opened to the wonder of his tale. The morning light strengthened as their conversation deepened. Emma shared her own story, her dedication to wildlife conservation, her fascination with wolf behavior, her sense of something special about Pine Valley. Alex absorbed each word, building bridges between his worlds. Luna's decision to allow this interaction proved transformative. She watched as her adopted son discovered new aspects of himself through human connection. Her wisdom showed in knowing when to protect and when to step back, allowing natural bonds to form. The valley itself seemed to approve of this meeting. Birds continued their morning songs, deer grazed peacefully nearby, and even the wind gentled its touch. Nature's acceptance suggested rightness in this crossing of boundaries. Grace Williams, watching from her porch through binoculars, recognized the significance of what she witnessed. Her years of observing valley life had prepared her to understand this moment's importance in the greater pattern of things. Emma's scientific objectivity melted in the face of Alex's authentic presence. His unique perspective on wolf behavior offered insights beyond any research she had encountered. Their discussions became a blend of academic knowledge and lived experience. The pack's younger members watched these interactions with mixture of curiosity and concern. They sensed changes coming to their ordered world, but took comfort in Luna's calm acceptance of events. Their trust in her leadership helped them adjust to new possibilities. Storm's swift patrols expanded to include protection of these morning meetings. The Grey Wolf adapted her routes to ensure Emma's safe passage to and from the encounter site. Her actions demonstrated the pack's growing acceptance of this new connection. Thunder's protective instincts extended to include Emma during her visits. The massive wolf recognized her importance to Alex's journey and adjusted his guardianship accordingly. His acceptance helped ease tensions between human and wolf domains. Echo found ways to participate in these meetings while maintaining his wolf nature. His playful presence helped bridge awkward moments, demonstrating that joy transcends species boundaries. His adaptation showed others that change could strengthen rather than threaten existing bonds. Old Sage's wisdom provided foundation for these developing relationships. Her presence reminded all that the valley had always been a place where boundaries blurred and understanding grew. Her acceptance blessed these connections with ancient authority. Emma's documentation of valley life transformed through her interactions with Alex. Her photographs captured deeper truth about wolf behavior, enhanced by understanding gained through their conversations. Her work began telling story of cooperation rather than mere observation. The clearing by Whispering Falls became sanctuary for cross-species understanding. Human and wolf wisdom merged in this space, creating something new and precious. Each meeting brought insights that enriched both worlds. Luna's leadership guided the pack through this period of change. She demonstrated how to maintain essential wolf nature while embracing new possibilities. Her example helped others navigate evolving relationships between species. The valley's natural rhythms provided structure for these developing connections. Morning meetings followed patterns that respected both human and wolf schedules. Nature itself seemed to create space for these interactions to flourish. Grace Williams recognized elements from old stories coming alive before her eyes. The ancient tales of humans who could speak with wolves gained new meaning through Alex and Emma's interactions. Her understanding of valley history deepened with each observation. Emma's scientific papers remained unwritten as she chose to protect the secrets she witnessed. Her camera captured only what could safely be shared, preserving the valley's mysteries while documenting its visible wonders. Her discretion earned trust from both human and wolf communities. The pack's territorial behaviors adapted to include Emma's regular presence. Patrol routes adjusted, hunting schedules shifted, and den activities accommodated these morning meetings. Their flexibility demonstrated wisdom in accepting beneficial change. Storm's teaching methods evolved to incorporate human elements learned through observation. The swift wolf began understanding how human knowledge could enhance wolf wisdom. Her adaptation showed others how to grow through exposure to different perspectives. Thunder's strength found new expression in gentle protection of these developing relationships. The powerful wolf's acceptance helped ease fears on both sides of the species divide. His presence reminded all that strength can serve understanding, rather than separation. Echo's friendship with Alex deepened through sharing these new experiences. The wolf's acceptance of human connection showed others that love grows stronger through trust and openness. Their bond demonstrated how relationships evolve without breaking. Old Sage's ancient knowledge provided context for these unprecedented interactions. Her teachings suggested that boundaries exist to be understood rather than feared. Her wisdom helped others see larger patterns in current events. The story of a wolf-raised human connecting with his human nature became testimony to love's power to bridge worlds. Each interaction added depth to existing relationships while creating space for new understanding. The unfolding tale demonstrated that growth enriches rather than diminishes established bonds. Autumn winds carried the scent of change through Pine Valley as Alex stood at the edge of Thunder Cave, facing the most difficult decision of his life. Emma had discovered his true identity through old newspaper clippings and photographs. In her hands, she held proof that Michael Thompson, the quiet man who never stopped searching, was his father. The knowledge weighed on Alex like winter snow, threatening to overwhelm him. Luna sensed his turmoil, her golden eyes watching as her adopted son paced the cave entrance. She understood that this moment would test not just his loyalty, but the very meaning of family. Emma waited in their usual meeting place by Whispering Falls. The evidence spread carefully on a flat rock. Each yellowed newspaper told part of the story: a tragic accident, a missing child, a father who refused to give up hope. The morning light cast long shadows across faces that looked so much like Alex's own. Echo stayed closer than usual, pressing against Alex's side whenever he paused in his restless movement. The wolf sensed the magnitude of his brother's struggle, offering silent support, even as his own heart feared the possible outcomes. Their bond, forged through years of shared experiences, faced its greatest test. Storm patrolled with unusual vigilance, her swift movements reflecting the tension in the air. The grey wolf understood that this decision would affect not just Alex, but the entire pack. Her circuits grew tighter, more focused, as if she could somehow contain the situation through sheer determination. Thunder maintained his protective watch from the ridge above, his massive form a reminder of the strength Alex had found among the wolves. The powerful wolf's presence represented everything he might lose by choosing his human heritage. Each silent moment carried the weight of years of loyalty and trust. Old Sage observed from her favorite resting spot, her ancient eyes holding wisdom about choices and consequences. She had seen many changes in the valley, understood how decisions shape not just individual lives, but the flow of history itself. Her calm presence offered anchor in the storm of Alex's emotions. Grace Williams watched the unfolding drama from her porch, understanding that the valley's greatest secret teetered on the edge of exposure. Her family's long history of protecting wolf mysteries had prepared her for this moment. Yet even she felt uncertainty about the right path forward. The autumn forest seemed to hold its breath as Alex wrestled with his choice. Leaves turned gold and red around him, nature's reminder that change was inevitable, necessary even. But knowing that truth didn't make his decision any easier. Emma understood the magnitude of what she proposed. Meeting Michael Thompson would mean stepping fully into the human world, acknowledging his birth heritage, and potentially exposing the pack's existence to outside scrutiny. Yet she also saw how the possibility tugged at something deep within Alex's soul. Luna's leadership faced its greatest challenge as she watched her adopted son contemplate leaving the pack. Her heart understood that true love sometimes means letting go. but her instincts urged her to protect the family she had built. Every mother's wisdom warred with every alpha's duty to maintain pack unity. The valley itself seemed to reflect Alex's internal struggle. Wind stirred leaves into dancing spirals, streams murmured ancient secrets, and even the birds fell silent during key moments of contemplation. Nature itself appeared to recognize the significance of this crossroads. Echo's devotion showed in small gestures, staying within sight when Alex needed space, pressing close when comfort was required, maintaining connection without demanding response. The wolf's friendship demonstrated that some bonds transcend choice, surviving even the most difficult decisions. Storm's swift running provided outlet for the pack's nervous energy. Her patrols became more frequent, her movements more purposeful, as if physical action could somehow make the situation clearer. Her dedication reminded all that duty continues even in times of uncertainty. Thunder's strength took on new meaning as he stood guard over Alex's contemplation. The massive wolf's presence represented protection not just from physical threats, but from the weight of decision itself. His steadfast loyalty offered foundation when everything else seemed uncertain. Old Sage's wisdom suggested paths forward that honored both sides of Alex's nature. Her teachings had always emphasized balance, understanding, and the recognition that growth often requires difficult choices. Her calm acceptance helped others face the possibility of change. Grace Williams recognized patterns from old stories playing out before her eyes. Her family's chronicles spoke of other moments when wolf and human worlds intersected, when choices shaped the valley's future. Her understanding helped her see larger meaning in current events. Emma's scientific background provided framework for documenting these unprecedented circumstances, but her heart guided her actions. She knew that exposing Alex's story could bring unwanted attention to the valley, yet she felt compelled to help him understand his full heritage. The pack's younger members sensed the gravity of unfolding events. They watched Alex with mixture of curiosity and concern, understanding that his choice would affect their future as well. Their trust in Luna's leadership helped them face uncertainty with courage. Luna's maternal instincts warred with her role as pack leader. She had raised Alex from toddler to young man, taught him wolf ways while honoring his human nature. Now she faced the possibility that her success in helping him grow strong might lead to losing him. The valley's natural rhythms continued despite the tension, reminding all that life moves forward, regardless of individual struggles. Seasons changed, animals prepared for winter, and the eternal dance between predator and prey played out against backdrop of personal drama. Echo's friendship proved crucial during moments of doubt. The wolf's unwavering acceptance reminded Alex that some connections transcend circumstance. Their bond demonstrated how love creates family beyond blood relationships. Storm's vigilance protected Alex's privacy as he wrestled with his decision. The swift wolf kept curious onlookers at distance, maintaining space for contemplation. Her dedication showed how pack members support each other through difficult times. Thunder's protective instincts extended to shielding Alex from pressure to choose quickly. The powerful wolf's presence discouraged both human and wolf interference, creating sanctuary for careful consideration. His strength served understanding rather than influence. Old Sage's ancient knowledge provided perspective on seemingly impossible choices. Her teaching suggested that true wisdom lies not in avoiding difficult decisions, but in facing them with courage and awareness. Her calm presence reminded all that change brings opportunity for growth. The story of a wolf-raised human choosing between worlds became testament to love's complexity. Each moment of consideration added depth to existing relationships, while creating space for new possibilities. The unfolding drama demonstrated that true family transcends species, blood, and circumstance. Grace Williams's observations reminded all that the valley had weathered many changes. always finding balance between preserving secrets and allowing natural evolution. Her family's history suggested that wisdom often means trusting individuals to make choices that serve greater good. Emma's role transformed from scientific observer to witness of profound personal journey. Her documentation captured not just physical events, but deeper truth about family, belonging, and the bridges possible between different worlds. Her presence helped others see larger meaning in individual choice. The pack's territorial behaviors reflected tension of waiting for Alex's decision. Patrol patterns tightened, den activities centered closer to home, and hunting parties maintained closer contact than usual. Their adaptations showed how groups respond to potential loss of key members. Luna's leadership demonstrated wisdom in allowing space for difficult decisions while maintaining pack cohesion. She understood that forcing choice would only create resentment, while supporting careful consideration showed trust in process and individual. Echo's constant companionship provided stability during turbulent time. The wolf's presence reminded Alex that some bonds survive any choice, that true friendship transcends circumstance. Their connection demonstrated how love creates lasting bridges between worlds. Old Sage's wisdom suggested that sometimes the hardest choices lead to greatest growth. Her teachings emphasized seeing beyond immediate consequences to larger patterns of possibility. Her acceptance helped others trust in natural unfolding of events. First light painted Pine Valley in shades of dawn as Alex approached Cedar Creek Village, his heart pounding with each step toward human civilization. Emma walked beside him, her presence both comfort and catalyst for what was about to unfold. Behind them, Luna's pack moved like shadows through the morning mist, unwilling to let their human member face this moment alone. Michael Thompson sat on his cabin porch, sipping morning coffee as he had done every day for nearly 2 decades. His weathered hands clutched a chipped mug, eyes scanning the tree line out of habit, born from years of searching. The sound of approaching footsteps made him pause, his breath catching as 2 figures emerged from the morning fog. Time seemed to slow as father and son faced each other across the yard. Michael's coffee mug slipped from nerveless fingers, shattering on the wooden boards. Years of hope, searching, and silent prayers crystallized in this single moment. Alex stood frozen, overwhelmed by emotions he couldn't name, while Emma gently squeezed his hand in support. Luna watched from the forest's edge, her golden eyes reflecting mixture of pride and sorrow. Her adopted son took hesitant steps toward his birth father, each movement carrying weight of 2 worlds colliding. The alpha female sensed her pack's tension, their collective breath held as this crucial scene unfolded. Echo pressed close to Luna's side, whining softly as he watched his brother venture into human territory. The wolf's devotion warred with understanding that some journeys must be faced alone. His presence offered silent support even as distance grew between them. Grace Williams observed from her garden, pretending to tend her plants while witnessing this historic meeting. Her family's generations of valley knowledge helped her understand significance of what transpired. The meeting of wolf-raised son and seeking father would reshape Pine Valley's future. Storm maintained vigilant patrol around village perimeter, her swift movements keeping curious onlookers at distance. The gray wolf's instincts urged protection even as she recognized necessity of this exposure. Her circuits grew tighter as morning progressed, matching tension in the air. Thunder's massive form remained visible on ridge above village, his presence both warning and reassurance. The powerful wolf's silhouette reminded all that Alex's wolf family remained close, ready to defend if needed. His watchful gaze missed nothing as events unfolded below. Old Sage settled near forest edge, her ancient wisdom sensing rightness in this meeting despite its risks. She had guided Alex toward this moment through years of subtle teaching. Now she watched natural conclusion of long journey unfold before her eyes. Michael Thompson stumbled forward, his hands shaking as he reached toward the son he'd never stopped seeking. Years of grief and hope showed in his eyes as he studied Alex's face, recognizing features that matched old photographs and cherished memories. Emma stepped back, giving father and son space for their reunion while maintaining protective presence nearby. Her scientific mind recorded details, even as her heart filled with emotion. This moment represented culmination of trust built through careful patience and understanding. The valley itself seemed to acknowledge significance of this meeting. Wind gentled its touch, birds hushed their songs, and even morning light softened. As though nature itself held breath in anticipation, every element appeared aligned to support this crucial moment. Luna's leadership faced ultimate test as she balanced pack protection with Alex's need for freedom. Her heart understood necessity of this step, while instincts urged caution. Each moment required fresh calculation of risk and benefit, trust and protection. Echo's friendship showed in his refusal to retreat despite growing discomfort with human proximity. The wolf maintained position at forest edge, unwilling to abandon his brother even as circumstances pushed natural boundaries. His loyalty transcended ordinary pack behavior. Storm's swift movements created protective barrier between curious villagers and unfolding family reunion. The grey wolf's actions demonstrated pack's commitment to supporting Alex while maintaining necessary distance. Her presence discouraged unwanted intervention. Thunder's vigilance took on new significance as village stirred to life around emotional scene. The massive wolf's presence reminded humans that Alex belonged to two worlds, each deserving respect and consideration. His watchful guard guaranteed safety for all involved. Old Sage's calm presence helped steady younger pack members as they witnessed unprecedented event. Her acceptance of situation helped others trust natural unfolding of circumstances. Ancient wisdom suggested that some changes strengthen rather than threaten established orders. Grace Williams recognized elements of old stories coming alive before her eyes. Her family's chronicles spoke of moments when human and wolf worlds merged, creating new possibilities for understanding and cooperation. This meeting represented continuation of ancient pattern. Emma's role shifted from catalyst to witness as father and son began tentative communication. Her previous interactions with Alex helped bridge gap between his wolf upbringing and human heritage. Her presence provided familiar reference point during overwhelming encounter. The pack's younger members watched with mixture of curiosity and concern as their unique pack brother navigated human interaction. Their trust in Luna's leadership helped them accept necessity of this exposure while maintaining protective instincts. Michael Thompson's years of searching culminated in a moment almost too powerful for words. His patience and persistence found reward in presence of son, whose survival defied explanation. Every detail of Alex's appearance branded itself into father's memory. Luna's maternal instincts urged her to rush forward when she sensed Alex's emotional turmoil, yet wisdom born of years leading pack helped her maintain distance, allowing necessary growth through challenge. Her restraint demonstrated true understanding of love's requirements. The valley's natural rhythms continued despite emotional drama unfolding near village edge. Seasons turned, animals followed ancient patterns, and circle of life maintained steady pace against backdrop of human reunion. Nature's consistency provided foundation for unprecedented change. Echo's dedicated friendship helped anchor Alex during overwhelming emotions of human contact. The wolf's steady presence at forest edge reminded him that pack connection remained. Strong regardless of new human bonds, their relationship demonstrated possibility of belonging to both worlds. Storm's protective circuits widened to accommodate growing number of villagers drawn to unusual scene. The swift wolf's movements created subtle boundary between public curiosity and private moment. Her actions helped maintain dignity of father-son reunion. Thunder's strength found new expression in passive demonstration of Pack's continued claim on Alex. The powerful wolf's visible presence reminded all that some bonds transcend ordinary categories of belonging. His guard duty served multiple purposes. During crucial transition, Old Sage's ancient knowledge provided context for unprecedented situation. Her teachings had always emphasized balance between preservation and growth, tradition and adaptation. Current circumstances proved wisdom of flexible approach to unchanging truths. The story of wolf-raised human meeting birth father became testimony to love's ability to span decades and species. Each moment added depth to understanding of family's true meaning while creating space for new configurations of belonging. Unfolding. Events demonstrated that hearts expand rather than divide when faced with multiple claims. Grace Williams' observation of scene added another chapter to Valley's rich history of human-wolf interaction. Her family's role as chroniclers helped preserve significance of current events for future generations. Her presence represented continuity of Valley's unique heritage. Emma's scientific background provided framework for documenting historic encounter while personal investment guided appropriate boundaries. Her careful balance between observation and participation helped others navigate unfamiliar territory of cross-species family dynamics. The pack's territorial behavior adapted to accommodate new reality of Alex's human connections. Patrol patterns shifted, den activities adjusted, and pack communication evolved to support unprecedented situation. Their flexibility demonstrated wisdom in accepting beneficial change. Luna's leadership guided Pack through emotional challenges of sharing beloved member with human family. Her example helped others understand that love multiplies rather than divides when hearts open to new possibilities. Her wisdom shaped Pack's response to changing circumstances. Echo's steadfast presence helped Alex maintain connection to wolf family while exploring human bonds. The wolf's dedication showed others that loyalty creates bridges rather than barriers between worlds. Their friendship became model for transcending ordinary boundaries. Old Sage's wisdom suggested that greatest growth often comes through accepting apparent contradictions. Her teachings emphasized seeing beyond surface conflicts to deeper harmonies possible between different ways of living. Her acceptance blessed new forms of family connection. Winter descended upon Pine Valley with unprecedented ferocity, as if nature itself sought to test the newfound balance between wolf and human worlds. Snow blanketed the landscape, transforming familiar territories into mysterious terrain that challenged both species' survival skills. In Thunder Cave, Alex faced the consequences of bridging two worlds as his unique position became both blessing and burden. Grace Williams' morning routine now included watching two families navigate their shared connection to one remarkable young man. From her porch, she observed Alex moving between worlds with growing confidence, though not without cost. His presence created ripples that transformed both human and wolf communities in ways none could have predicted. Michael Thompson's cabin gradually evolved into a meeting ground between species. The father learned to recognize wolf signals, to respect boundaries while building bridges. His patience and understanding helped ease tensions as two families learned to share their precious connection to Alex. Luna's leadership faced fresh challenges as the pack adapted to increased human contact. Her wisdom guided them through necessary changes while maintaining essential wolf nature. The alpha female's example showed others how to preserve identity while accepting new realities. Emma Foster's research took unexpected turns as she documented this unprecedented cooperation between species. Her cameras captured moments of extraordinary interaction, though she kept the most remarkable images private, protecting the valley's delicate balance. Echo remained Alex's constant companion, demonstrating how friendship transcends species barriers. The wolf's dedication helped others understand that love creates bridges stronger than any divide. Their bond became symbol of possibility for both communities. Storm's swift patrols expanded to include protection of new meeting places where wolf and human worlds intersected. The grey wolf's adaptation showed others how to maintain security while allowing necessary connections. Her vigilance helped create safe spaces for pioneering interactions. Thunder's protective instincts evolved to encompass both human and wolf family members. The massive wolf's presence reminded all that strength serves understanding rather than separation. His acceptance helped others trust new possibilities. Old Sage's ancient wisdom provided foundation for unprecedented changes in valley life. Her teachings emphasized balance between preservation and growth, helping others navigate unfamiliar territory. Her calm presence blessed new patterns of interaction. The valley itself seemed to embrace these changes, offering natural spaces where species could meet safely. Whispering Falls became neutral ground where human and wolf wisdom merged, creating something new and precious. Nature itself appeared to support this delicate dance of cooperation. Alex's unique position allowed him to serve both families in ways previously unimaginable. His understanding of wolf behavior helped prevent conflicts with human settlements, while his human knowledge enhanced pack survival strategies. Each day brought fresh opportunities to demonstrate value of cross-species understanding. Michael Thompson's years of searching transformed into a lifetime of learning as he helped create new models of family connection. His patience and acceptance showed others how love expands to embrace unexpected forms. His example inspired community to reconsider traditional boundaries. Luna's maternal wisdom proved crucial as pack members explored new possibilities for interaction with human neighbors. Her leadership demonstrated how to maintain essential nature while adapting to changing circumstances. Her love provided foundation for unprecedented growth. Emma's documentation of these changes required delicate balance between scientific observation and emotional investment. Her work captured beauty of cooperation while protecting sensitive details that could endanger Valley's unique experiment. Her discretion earned trust from both communities. Echo's friendship with Alex took on deeper significance as bridge between species. The wolf's unwavering loyalty showed others that some bonds transcend ordinary categories. Their partnership became model for future possibilities. Storm's protective circuits adapted to include safeguarding delicate new relationships forming between species. The swift wolf's vigilance helped prevent misunderstandings that could threaten Valley's emerging harmony. Her dedication served both communities. Thunder's strength found new purpose in maintaining peace between worlds. The powerful wolf's presence reminded all that protection serves understanding rather than separation. His adaptation showed others how to use strength wisely. Old Sage's teachings took on fresh relevance as Valley residents navigated unfamiliar territory of cross-species cooperation. Her ancient wisdom helped others see larger patterns in current changes. Her acceptance blessed new forms of community. Grace Williams recognized elements of old stories coming alive in current events. Her family's chronicles gained new chapters as Valley's unique experiment unfolded. Her understanding helped others appreciate historic significance of present changes. The pack's territorial behaviors evolved to accommodate new patterns of interaction with human neighbors. Traditional boundaries gained flexibility while maintaining essential protections. Their adaptation demonstrated wisdom in accepting beneficial change. Michael Thompson's cabin became gathering place for those seeking to understand wolf-human cooperation. His experiences helped others navigate challenges of cross-species relationships. His patience created space for learning and growth. Luna's leadership style influenced human understanding of pack dynamics. Her example showed how authority serves community rather than individual power. Her wisdom shaped Valley's approach to species cooperation. Emma's research provided framework for documenting unprecedented changes in Valley life. Her careful balance between revelation and protection helped others appreciate delicate nature of current experiments. Her work served future understanding while preserving present harmony. Echo's dedicated friendship with Alex inspired others to explore possibilities beyond traditional boundaries. The wolf's acceptance of human connection showed how love transcends species barriers. Their bond encouraged others to trust new possibilities. Storm's swift movements between wolf and human territories created paths for safe interaction. The grey wolf's adaptation helped others navigate physical and emotional landscapes of cooperation. Her presence supported emerging patterns of connection. Thunder's protective instincts expanded to encompass entire valley community. The massive wolf's strength served peace rather than power. His example showed others how to maintain security while allowing growth. Old Sage's ancient knowledge provided perspective on unprecedented changes. Her teachings helped others see current events as part of larger pattern of valley life. Her wisdom blessed new forms of community interaction. Grace Williams' observation of unfolding events added crucial chapters to Valley's historic record. Her family's role as chroniclers helped preserve significance of current changes. Her presence represented continuity of Valley's unique heritage. The story of wolf-raised human creating bridges between species became testament to love's power to transform communities. Each day brought fresh evidence that cooperation serves life better than separation. Unfolding events demonstrated how understanding creates possibility. Up next on your screen, two more extraordinary tales await your discovery. If this story touched your heart, you won't want to miss what's coming. Click to continue your journey into the remarkable world of unexpected connections and transformative love.